Hello, my name is Tracy Carter, a Pinellas County School Social Worker with the Prevention Office. I'm here to introduce you to the Pinellas County Schools Marzano-focused non-classroom instructional evaluation model and give you an overview of the instructional observation and evaluation process. An observation is when the instructional framework is used as a tool to provide feedback. This can be done three ways: a walkthrough, a formal observation, or a targeted observation. The term evaluation is used to describe a collection of data that includes observations, student data, and professional growth. Here is a look at the Pinellas County Schools Marzano-focused non-classroom instructional evaluation model map. There are 4 areas of expertise. We call these areas domains. The strategies listed within each area are called elements. The non-classroom model has a total of 17 elements. The oval at the top is Domain 1, planning and preparing to provide support. In this domain, the focus is on evidence of written goals and a defined work plan that is aligned with supporting school and district goals. On the right side is a blue box. This is Domain 2, supporting student achievement. You will find research-based instructional strategies for supporting all stakeholders with identifying critical content and meeting achievement goals. To the left is a white box. This is Domain 3, continuous improvement of professional practice. This domain is focused on your own professional growth. This includes having a growth plan, using data, and tracking the progress of your professional growth. Along the bottom is a light blue rectangle. This is Domain 4, professional responsibilities. This domain includes adhering to school and district policies and procedures, demonstrating knowledge of your professional practice, and promoting positive interactions with colleagues. Now that we've looked at all 4 of the domains, let's take a look at the element protocols. The protocols provide a more in-depth look into each of the elements included in the focused model. Let's take a look at an example. This example is from the element Identifying Critical Content. I will not go through each line, but I am going to highlight some of the features that are included in the protocols. First, let's take a look at the clarifying information included just above the scale. As we read the element protocols, the word student is generically used to represent anyone the non-classroom teacher is supporting, such as staff, students, or families. The word school or district is generically used to represent anyone in the non-classroom teacher's area of responsibility. At the top of each element protocol, you will find the focus statement. This describes what the teacher's responsibility is for each element. Under the focus statement is the desired effect. The desired effect describes what you want to see as a result of implementing the strategy correctly. As you move down, you see examples of specific techniques for implementing the strategy. At the bottom of each protocol is a scale. The scale here comes from the element Identifying Critical Content. Notice that the focus statement is included in the Applying and Developing ratings. This is saying that the strategy has been used correctly by the non-classroom teacher. The rating is determined by the % of student evidence that has been monitored and shows the desired effect. If more than the majority of students are monitored for evidence of the desired effect, then the rating is applying. If it is less than the majority, then the rating is developing. To be rated at innovating, greater than 90% of student evidence has been monitored and shows evidence of the desired effect. We just reviewed the protocol and scale for the element Identifying Critical Content from Domain 2, supporting student achievement. When reviewing the protocols, you will find that in some elements, the description for innovating changes from being student-focused to being teacher-focused. Let's look at an example from Domain 1, planning and preparing to support instruction. In the scale for the element, establishing and communicating clear goals for supporting services, the description for innovating reads, helps others by sharing how support goals were successfully established and communicated. This description is focused on the action of helping others in a similar non-classroom role successfully implement the strategy. Now that you're familiar with the observation tool, Let's take a look at the different types of observations. There are 3 types of observations: a formal, targeted, and walkthrough. If you are on an annual, professional, or continuing contract, then you will receive a minimum of 2 formal observations. If you have been newly hired to the district and have a probationary contract, then you will receive a minimum of 3 formal observations. Formal and targeted observations follow the same observation cycle. The cycle consists of 1, a pre-observation conference, 2, an observation that is at least 30 minutes in length, and 3, a post-observation conference. A pre-conference is an opportunity for you to share with your administrator what they can expect to see during the formal or targeted observation, allowing the administrator to ask clarifying questions. A pre-observation form may be used in lieu of the face-to-face conference upon approval of both parties. A formal observation consists of a pre-observation conference between the administrator and the teacher, an observation of at least 30 minutes, and a post-observation conference. The observation cycle for both formal and targeted observations include a post-conference. A post-conference will be scheduled within 5 business days after an observation. A post-conference is an opportunity for the administrator to provide feedback on the observation. When preparing for a post-conference, you may choose to bring evidence for any element that was scored in Domain 2, supporting student achievement, and Domain 3, continuous improvement of professional practice during the observation. It is not necessary to bring evidence to the post-conference for elements in Domain 2 and 3 that were not observed and did not receive a score. A teacher may bring evidence to a post-conference related to any element in Domain 1, planning and preparing to provide support, and Domain 4, professional responsibilities. Within 5 days after a post-conference, the teacher may submit additional evidence to be considered by the administration. Targeted observations are teacher-requested and can include any element in Domains 1, 2, 3, and 4. Targeted observations are only for teachers on annual, continuing, or professional contracts. Only 1 targeted observation may be completed per school year. The request for a targeted observation must be scheduled by the teacher within 5 days after one of the post-observation conferences. A teacher can request up to 4 elements they would like to target during the observation. Identifying critical content is an element that's required to be marked during every observation. The other elements being targeted are the choice of the teacher. A walkthrough can be either evaluative or non-evaluative for elements in Domain 1, planning and preparing to provide support, and Domain 4, professional responsibilities. It is a great way for administrators to provide written feedback through eye observation. For elements in Domain 2, supporting student achievement, and Domain 3, continuous improvement of professional practice, a walkthrough is always non-evaluative. When can you expect your observations to occur? For teachers on annual, professional, or continuing contracts, 1 formal will occur 2 times per year, 1 each semester. The targeted observation can occur first or second semester, but must occur at least 4 weeks prior to the end of the school year. For teachers on a probationary contract, the first formal will be determined by your hire date. The first formal will occur after the 21st day, but before the 60th day. The other 2 formals will occur during the 2nd and 3rd quarter, but could be prorated based on the date of hire. We have reviewed the different types of observations included in the focused model, the number of required observations, and when the observations will occur. Before we review the element requirements, let's take a moment to talk about deliberate practice plans. A deliberate practice plan consists of targeted elements and action steps designed to improve teacher practice as it relates to impacting student progress. The deliberate practice plan and the progress made toward accomplishing the targeted elements and action steps will be discussed at each of the post-observation conferences. At the conclusion of the implementation of the deliberate practice plan, the administrator will assign a rating based on the scale. A score of 0 or unsatisfactory will be given if the staff member did not write a deliberate practice plan. A score of 3 or developing needs improvement will be given if action steps are written, but training was not attended or finished related to the targeted element. A score of 7 or effective will be given if the staff member wrote a deliberate practice plan, training was attended, but there was no evidence of growth observed in the classroom related to the targeted element. A score of 10 or highly effective will be given if the staff member wrote a deliberate practice plan, implemented the parts of the plan including professional development, and achieved the growth results described in the plan. Your deliberate practice plan is a working document that you can change throughout the year as you work toward achieving your goal. Once your deliberate practice plan has been created, written, and approved, you can continue to monitor your progress in iObservation. To do this, log in to iObservation. Click on the Growth tab and select Plans. You will see your current plan. Select the View button on the right side. There are many features that allow you to monitor your progress as you complete milestones toward your goal. Action steps can be added, removed, or changed. You can also leave comments, upload evidence, or use the drop-down menu to mark a step in progress or completed. Now, let's review the element requirements and scoring calculation. All elements are rated in Domain 1, Planning and Preparing to Provide Support, Domain 3, Continuous Improvement of Professional Practice, and Domain 4, Professional Responsibilities. Element 4 in Domain 2, Demonstrating Knowledge of Students, must be rated at least one time during the school year. Element 5 in Domain 2, Helping Students Meet Achievement Goals, must be rated at least one time during the school year. Element 7 in Domain 2, Identifying Critical Content, must be rated in every observation. All formal, targeted, and walkthrough observations that are marked as counting toward evaluation are part of the instructional practice score calculation. All observation data that is entered into iObservation can be accessed throughout the school year. To calculate the instructional practice score, take the highest rating for each element. For Domain 2, Supporting Student Achievement, the elements 4, 5, and 7 are required. The other 3 highest rated elements will count towards the domain score. In each domain, add the ratings and divide by the number of rated elements. This will give you the average rating or domain score. Weigh each domain score. Add all of the weighted domain scores to receive an instructional practice score. Let's walk through an example of how the instructional practice score will be calculated once observation data has been entered into iObservation. When you log into iObservation, click on the Evaluations tab, then select My Evaluations. Find the In Progress evaluation and select View. This is where you can visit throughout the year to monitor your evaluation. At the top of the screen, you will see the sections where the instructional practice, student growth, and deliberate practice scores are displayed. The final score will display once all data becomes available. Below this is where you will find the observations that count toward evaluation. Let's scroll down a little further. Next, you will see the instructional practice score section. This is where we will practice calculating the instructional practice score. First is Domain 1, Planning and Preparing to Provide Support. Notice the highest rating is already in the far right column, labeled Evaluation Score. If we add these ratings, we get the sum 9. Then we divide by 3. The domain score is 3.0. Next, multiply by 0.27 to apply the domain weight of 27%. This gives us the weighted score of 0.81. Now let's scroll down to Domain 2, Supporting Student Achievement. In Domain 2, Supporting Student Achievement, the elements Demonstrating Knowledge of Students, Helping Students Meet Achievement Goals, and Identifying Critical Content are required. These elements have been marked with a yellow arrow. The other 3 highest scores in Domain 2 will also count toward the domain score. These have been highlighted in green. The 2 lowest scores in Domain 2, excluding the required elements, will be dropped. These have been highlighted in red. This may include an element that was never rated. Now, it is time to calculate the score in Domain 2. First, I will add the highest ratings. When I add, I will only include the ratings listed in the column Evaluation Score. The sum is 20. Second, I will divide by the number of rated elements. Although there are 8 elements in Domain 2, I will only divide by 6 because the 2 lowest scored elements have been dropped. When I divide 20 by 6, I get a very long decimal number. In eye observation, it rounds to the nearest hundredth. So in this case, my domain score would be 3.33. Third, I will weigh the domain score. The weight for Domain 2, supporting student achievement, is 19%. So to weigh the Domain 2 score, I will multiply by 0.19. The product is my weighted score. In this example, it would be 0.63. If we scroll down a little further, we will see Domain 3, continuous improvement of professional practice. Once again, if we add the ratings in this domain, we get the sum 7. Then divide by 2 to get the domain score of 3.5. Multiply by 0.18 to get the weighted score of 0.63. Last is Domain 4, professional responsibilities. When the ratings are added, you get the sum 12. Divide by 4 to get the domain score 3.0. The weight of Domain 4 is 36%. Multiply by 0.36 to get the weighted score 1.08. Now we are ready to calculate the instructional practice score. To do this, we will add the weighted domain scores. This gives us an instructional practice score of 3.15 effective. In eye observation, below the instructional practice section, you will see the sections where the student growth and deliberate practice scores are entered. Scroll down a little further and you will see a comment box. Comments are optional. Sometimes administrators will leave comments on your evaluation, or you may choose to leave a comment. Once you scroll to the very bottom of the evaluation page in eye observation, you will find the approval and notification section. This is where you can acknowledge your scores once they become available. To calculate the final evaluation score, you need the instructional practice score, student growth score, and the deliberate practice score. The weight of the instructional practice score is 56.7%. The weight of the student growth score is 33.3%. The weight of the deliberate practice score is 10%. After the scores are weighed, you add them and compare them to the scale. For our example, this would result in a final score of 3.27, which is effective. There are many tools and resources available to support you as you learn about the Pinellas County Schools Marzano-focused non-classroom instructional evaluation model. In eye observation, there's a resource library. Just type in the search bar a domain or element you would like to learn more about, and you will find the latest downloadable documents and videos that support that element. Evaluation resources are also posted on our main Pinellas County Schools website. Go to pcsb.org, click on Department and Divisions, find Professional Development, and select Instructional Evaluation Model on the left side. One of our newest resources is our SharePoint site located in Office 365. Once you log in to Office 365, click on the SharePoint app, then search Professional Development Central. Click on Instructional, then Evaluation. There are many professional development opportunities that are applicable to the Marzano-focused instructional model. These opportunities are advertised in the monthly Chalk Talk publication. For answers to specific questions related to the evaluation processes or eye observation, please contact the Professional Development Department.